Hello, welcome to December's edition of the Monitoring Academy newsletter. My name is Mark Leftwich, and as always, I'm with my colleague Shaun Rodger.
Hi guys.
So today we're going to give you an overview of the top videos, blogs, DW answers, and any hints and tips you think that will be valuable to you from the last month. Today we're going to kick off first with the videos, and I believe you're first up.
Yeah, the first one we have is going through Jazz and TCR, and essentially it talks you through how you add a new user to Jazz SM and what you then need to do to configure them to work within TCR, basically setting the TCR portal operator role, the Cognos roles. It's a really useful video. This can sometimes be a little bit finicky. TCR is really picky about the roles you set, so to have a video for this, excellent, well worth having a look at.
Okay, the next video is the OS agent. This is across all platforms, so Unix, Linux and Windows. This is a very basic how-to of explaining how the agent actually works itself. It will show how it monitors the file system and files on the file system, and the video also shows you how to make a situation. So if you want to alert if a folder disappears or is created, or a file disappears or is created, this is the video for you. We do still get a few PMRs trickling around this sort of stuff, especially when you're trying to create your own custom versions. So it might be worth having a look at this video, it might save you some time.
Okay, so moving on from the videos, we're going to look at the top blogs. Now, the first one is something near and dear to my heart. It is, of course, TCR. Now, this is actually a really handy blog. It's one of our colleagues has summarized the ports that TCR uses. So this is really, really good if you've got firewalls in your environment, or if you're just seeing ports open and you're not sure what's actually using them. This will help you narrow it down. So yeah, it's a really useful, really informative blog. So thanks very much for doing that one for us, mate. Yeah,
definitely. We get quite a lot of PMRs coming on the ports, especially loopbacks and things that are being used. So hopefully this will help you narrow down if you're going through firewalls, gateways, things like that. So really good. Okay, next one up. This one is all about the self-monitoring topology and the TEPs. So if you're using FixPack 6, which at this point is the latest and greatest, but there's one about to be released next week, FixPack 7, this has changed behavior slightly. For some of you do use the self-monitoring topology to see where everything's connected, some don't. For those of you that do, there is a bug at the moment, which there is an APAR in the blog. If you have an agent connected to one RTEMS, you stop it, connect it to another RTEMS and start it, it will show online on one, offline on the other, on the same topology listings. Now you can, if you're doing housekeeping, it's not a bad thing to do. You can clear the offline entry on the agents before it starts. So when you take your agent down off one RTEMS, clear the offline in the TEPs, it will disappear from the TEMS database. There's no record for it to pull. Connect back on, works. If you don't want to do that, which I can understand, there is an APAR, which should hopefully be in FixPack 7. We can confirm that in next month's video. So just keep an eye on that one just in case.
Cool. So moving on from that, we've got another TCR one, and this is another kind of really basic how-to guide. It's really useful, actually. If you are starting to dip your toe into the wide world of TCR and Cognos, this shows you how to go through the steps of creating your first custom report. There's some useful links in there, some really basic step-by-step, this is how you create it in Report Studio, this is how you get your data set. So if you're just starting out, I can highly recommend this one, give it a look.
Perfect. Okay, this one is one of my favorites of the month, actually. This one is all to do with LDAP. Now, for those of you that have set up LDAP in ITM, you know it either goes perfectly or it doesn't go very well at all. So this is a brilliant blog that shows you the 3 different ways, either TEMS, TEPs or OS authentication for LDAP. It's got some brilliant tracing that you can run yourself. If you think that your LDAP is either not working as it should, or it's the configuration has gone for some reason, you're trying to work out why it's gone wrong. And it's also got some really good debug tracing you can put on as well for LDAP, so you can see users and authentication going backwards and forwards, what users are coming in, how it's failing. So 9 times out of 10, this will solve your problem. You'll be able to see where the chain has broken down. I think this will probably stop you raising a lot of PMRs that come in with LDAP. So well worth checking out if you have a problem with LDAP, either setting it up or just running.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks very much for putting that one together, Norman. So
thank you.
Moving on, our last one is specifically for the Unix OS agent. Now, we've got some new attributes that have been added to it for ZFS, and this is specifically in 6.3 FixPack 5. So this is a blog basically talking you through the new attributes that you can look at, and yeah, if this is something you need to monitor, check this one out.
Definitely.
Hello and welcome back to my favorite ABROS and tech notes of the last month. This will be the last post of this year. Let's start with a few new ABRO. The first one is IV8992, agents do not start at boot on /12. This behavior is shown as following. Install the monitoring OS agent at version 6.3 Fixback 3 or higher. Configure and start the agent. Verify that the agents connect to the monitoring server. Reboot the system. Notice that the OS agent has not been restarted. There is a local fix available. Please read the local fix in the error description. The next one is IV 90312. Distribution queue situations or report fails with a CNP 7007 error. A distribution queue situation or report fails with a CNP 7007 error message. The error doesn't occur immediately after starting the agent. Instead, the error occurs after the agent has been running for a long time, several weeks or days, depend on the situation interval. There are 3 solutions available. The first one is restart the OS agent. The next one is apply the Unix OS 6305 Unix IF 0006 fix, and the third is 6.3 Fixback 7. The next error is the IV 90326 TEMS Active Directory Authentication problem. The hub TEMS not supporting LDAP rebinds on referrals. For LDAP servers that make use of LDAP referrals features, TEMS performs an LDAP rebind using anonymous credentials. This results in TEMS acting as LDAP client to fail user ID authentications by LDAP referral feature. This has been encountered with Active Directory serving as LDAP server. However, this may be a TEMS feature for any LDAP server that used referral features. And the last error is IV 90253, missing tabs attribute resident set size in megabit. Customer has previously requested the ability to monitor real memory in megabyte. In Fixback 6, this was added as resident set size in megabyte, but in pre-Fixback 6 you only had resident set size pages. The attribute is available in Situation Editor, but under certain scenarios it isn't not. In the last time we posting more and more technical information and tips under the application performance management blogs on IBM Developer Works and on IBM DB Answers. Please have a look at these blogs and or subscribe to RSS feeds to keep you up to date with our information and postings. That's all for the month and for 2016. If you have any questions or recommendations, what you want to know or what you want to see in a video on our YouTube Monitoring Academy channel, please let us know and put your comments on the bottom of this newsletter. Many thanks. I wish you all of you a happy 2017.
Okay, the next section, we've got the top flashes and alerts for you. So, Sean, I think you're going to kick the first one for the TCR flash.
Yeah, we've basically got a bit of a flavour of the month. The first 3 are all Cognos related. Now, this one is kind of an interesting one. It's essentially, there's a Windows update which breaks Cognos. And it does this by changing one of the registry entries to a value that Cognos really doesn't like. So the Windows patch is CWD illegal in DLL search. Now, I'm not going to go through the details of it, but basically this lays out what you need to do, what you need to look for, and the registry changes you're going to need to make to fix this. So unfortunately, the only way to get around this is either to roll back that patch or change your registry. So it's a bit clunky, but yeah, not a lot we can do about it. It's a Microsoft patch.
Yeah, it's better you know than don't, so if you do come across this, at least you know what to do next. Okay, the next one. This is possibly the strangest one I've seen for a while. This one is if you have certain errors in the cogserver.log, unless you have execute permissions, it will not actually show you the errors. So technically it's sort of saying you can't handle the error, which from a code point of view, I'm not entirely sure why you need execute permissions to see a readable file. but that's there. So if you are having some strange issues and you can't see errors in your logs, this may be a flash that you want to check. It shows you what the fixes are in it as well.
Okay, you need to pardon me, I'm just scrolling through to find the next one. Very professional. Okay, this last one, again, it's Microsoft is the flavor of the month as well. Yep. This is if you're having Office 365 and you're trying to email reports from TCR, Office 365 deletes them because it sees the jar files and thinks there's something dodgy. So this talks you through what you have to do to get around this. Now, it's essentially you have to make a change to the hex value at the start of the jar file so that Office 365 doesn't see it as something suspect. So this talks you through the changes you need to make. There are some specific Cognos configuration changes. Yeah. So if you're having problems with this, have a look at this tech note, and yeah, this will hopefully get you right again. But yeah, a bit of an odd one, that one.
Yeah. So that sort of ends the Cognos domination show. Next one we've got up is on IPM or APM V8. People are using both names at the moment. So this one is to do with a security vulnerability on MongoDB. So this vulnerability will allow certain access to historical files on the MongoDB. If you are running APM, it's probably worth a look to see if you need to lock this one down or not.
Cool. Okay, our last section this month is, as always, our top DW answers. So these are questions that have been asked by customers and engineers that have received positive feedback, positive answers, and so we'd just like to highlight some of them for you. Yeah. So you're going to kick us off with the first one, Mark.
I am. It's like before we do kick off, just to say, if you can contribute, it would be brilliant. The more information we can get in one repository here of all people's different viewpoints, the more valuable this is going to be over time, I guess. Yeah. So the first one then we can kick off with is LDAP. This is a discussion that's going on at the moment of how you can transfer LDAP from the TEMS authentication to the TEPS. So there's some steps in here of how you can do this, and there's people starting to post comments on other things they've noticed as they've gone down. So it's starting to be a really good resource if you do need to switch the LDAP functionality.
Okay, moving on from that one, we have one which is specific to the monitoring agent for VIOS. This is an issue with the CFG SVC command. Sometimes when you're running it, you'll get an error that says it's the ITM premium requires attribute hostname. Now, there's a number of different reasons for this. It's basically to do with the underlying VIOS. It's not specifically an ITM problem, but there's some kind of ins and outs and some hoops you need to jump through to confirm what version of VIOS you're running, what version of ITM. So this is actually quite a useful answer.
Yeah, it's a good write-up.
Yeah, it really is. So if you're having some problems with this, check this out.
Definitely. Okay, third on the list. This one is specifically to TCR. If you're importing some reports and it's taken a little bit longer to initialize than it should do, you may be hitting a bug to do with the naming conventions. So this discussion here shows you not only how to fix the naming conventions and which ones you need to tweak, but also how to do it. So again, if you are having this problem, it might be worth posting back on things that you found. We can again build up a bit of a wider repository of what's going on here.
And our last one for this month is an ITM v6 issue, and it's basically when some people are installing patches, you get an error of ITM patch.exe has stopped working. So somebody asked you what's basically going on with that. A good answer, and again, once again we come back to Microsoft. It's not specifically ITM, it's another Microsoft issue. And essentially it's your user doesn't have debug program rights within Windows. So again, good answer. It shows you basically what you need to tweak to get rid of this problem.
Definitely. So if you are installing patches and recommending to support maybe services, this is one you probably want to look at before you do it in case you hit the errors. So I think that's probably us done for the month, isn't it?
That is us done for the month and for 2016.
Yeah, so thank you for those that have been watching and subscribing. As always, if you'd like to see new content or anything tailored towards your needs, please post back on any of the forums that you see on the boxes below, DW Answers, YouTube, wherever you may see this. And we can start incorporating those into 2017, I guess. So,
yeah.
Thanks again. Have a good new year.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching this video at the IBM Monitoring Academy. We appreciate your feedback, so please feel free to use the comments box below. We'd also love you to check the thumbs up box if you appreciated this video. We have added several helpful links to the YouTube comments box below so you can find all our other content on social media. I would definitely recommend that you check out the blogs on DevWorks. Take care.